Students, welcome to another Mr. Ness screencast. Today's aim is the epidemiological transition, and here are your objectives. Pause the video, look these questions over, and get ready to copy some vocab terms and take some notes. Today, we're going to look at how the prevalence of different types of diseases changes as a country develops. And let's start by looking at some different ways of classifying diseases. The first type of disease is called infectious disease, and these are diseases that are spread through the transmission of small organisms called germs. As you learned earlier, many infectious diseases can easily be killed with soap or with boiling water, and this was the major breakthrough that doctors made in the early 1800s with germ theory, also called modern medicine. Two of the most common infectious diseases are pneumonia and malaria. Both of those diseases kill millions of people every year, and many of them are children. A very different type of disease is called chronic disease, also known as degenerative disease. Chronic diseases affect old people and are caused by the human body breaking down as it ages. Chronic diseases are not spread through germs. Some common chronic diseases are heart disease and Alzheimer's. Remember, chronic diseases tend to affect older people more. A third type of disease is called genetic or inherited disease. And these are diseases caused by abnormalities in people's DNA, and they get passed on from generation to generation. They are not spread by germs, nor do they mostly affect elderly people. Genetic diseases are less common than the other two types that we just mentioned. Two examples of genetic diseases are sickle cell anemia and hemophilia. Now let's look at two types of infectious diseases. The first type is called vectored. Vectored diseases are a subset of infectious diseases in which germs are spread by an intermediary organism. Malaria and yellow fever are two examples of vectored infectious diseases because these are both spread by mosquitoes. Mosquitoes suck the blood of an infected person, and then when they bite another person, that second person becomes infected as well. So vector diseases are infectious diseases that rely on a third party, like a mosquito, to be spread. And non-vector diseases are infectious diseases that are spread through direct contact between a host and a victim. This is most infectious diseases. Some examples include flu, in which germs are passed through the air from a host to a victim, or HIV, which is passed through bodily fluids. So, to sum up, there are three types of diseases: infectious, chronic, and genetic. And then within infectious diseases, we have two subtypes, vectored and non-vectored, depending on whether the infection spreads through an intermediary or directly from person to person. And the last term today is the epidemiological transition model. Try saying that word to yourself: epidemiological. Epidemiological. Epidemiology is the study of disease, and similar to the demographic transition model, which you already learned about, the epidemiological transition model also predicts changes in a country as the country develops. But unlike the demographic transition model, which looks at many demographic changes, the epidemiological transition model focuses completely on the crude death rate and the cause of death. And it predicts that as countries develop, the most common type of disease in a country will change. In stage 1, for example, the leading cause of death for most people in the population is infectious disease. But when a country develops and reaches stage 5, the leading cause of death will be chronic disease. You will look more at this model in class. All right, it's time to review the objectives. If you don't know the answer to any of them, rewind the video and look again, and I will see you in class. Bye, students.